From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Casey Fiesler had an intriguing idea for a research project. Casey teaches information science and technology at the University of Colorado. And she wanted to create social media content that would help young people understand how artificial intelligence works. The National Science Foundation, or NSF, liked Casey's proposal too, so much so that they approved a grant of about $268,000 to fund the project. The money would help Casey and a small team of researchers create the educational materials. But that plan ground to a halt 2 weeks ago when Casey learned the NSF, which is managed by the federal government, had abruptly canceled the funding. It happened at a moment when the Trump administration is killing grants for projects that involve subjects like misinformation and disinformation. The New York Times reported that Casey's grant was one of more than 400 that were defunded with little or no explanation. Although Casey thinks she knows why, and it has to do with the word misinformation.
So one of the justifications for this project is that young people especially learn a lot now from social media. And that's a little bit of a problem when it comes to understanding how AI works, because there are a lot of myths and misinformation about AI on social media.
So that word was mentioned somewhere in there.
Yes, it's actually in the public abstract for the grant.
Okay, interesting. Let's talk about what you had hoped to do with the grant. What is AI literacy, and why do you think it's important?
So I think it's really important that people understand how AI works, in part so that they also understand its limitations and therefore can decide how it makes sense to use it and also how to use it responsibly. And I think that this is really important for young people in particular because AI is being pushed a lot in schools, actually.
Sure. Now, the program that you hope to develop would have been tailored for K through 12 students. Would this have been content then that kids saw on TikTok and YouTube, or would you have taught this in a more formal classroom setting?
So the idea was actually to put the content out on social media so that it potentially caught a lot of different kinds of people. So I am a content creator. I make TikToks and I'm on Instagram. And one of the things that I love about what I do is that, you know, someone's scrolling through dog videos on TikTok and then suddenly there's me explaining, hey, did you know that algorithms can be biased?
Love it.
And so I wanted more of that. But my idea was to package it up as well for teachers.
Okay. I think you could even make it more effective if your 20-year-olds were holding cute dogs.
Potentially. I mean, I will say, so I've been actually running a pilot program of this for the past 6 weeks with a group of 5 undergraduate students. We had this great idea to explain AI terms using different contexts that people would get excited about. And one was like, how can we explain AI in the context of Minecraft? We brainstormed, like, how would you explain what a neural network is in Minecraft words?
I love it. Okay, so I think I can visualize what a lesson in your program might have looked like, meeting people really, truly where they are on these platforms. So tell me about the moment you learned the grant had been canceled.
So interestingly, I was actually visiting UC Irvine. I gave a talk earlier that day. And then I got a text message from my department chair. And he said, I'm so sorry, I just saw that email. Let me know if you want to talk. And I was like, what is he talking about? One of the reasons I was shocked was because I thought, actually, of all of my NSF grants, this one felt safe because AI has been expressed as such a priority of the current administration.
Did you ask the National Science Foundation for an explanation about what happened?
I did ask the university for a copy of the letter they received, And all it said was, here is a list of grants that have been terminated for no longer aligning with NSF priorities.
Wow, that's very vague.
Very vague. And again, I wasn't told this, so it's only a guess. But the reason that I assume the word misinformation was the trigger here is because there was a lot of news coverage about how basically all misinformation research at NSF got cut on Friday because the government says that combating misinformation is a violation of free speech.
Right. And the NSF didn't give you an explanation for killing your project, but it did put out this statement saying it wouldn't support research that, quote, advances a preferred narrative about significant matters of public debate. Do you think there's a political slant or something like it in your grant proposal?
I don't think so, no. So I believe that phrase, is more explanation of the misinformation decision. I think what they're saying there is that scientists making decisions about what is misinformation is a political slant. I know many, many amazing researchers who study misinformation, and I can tell you that is not the case. This is very carefully done research. And it's important research because even if we just think about AI-generated disinformation, one of the things that means is scams. Older adults especially are being targeted by phone call scams with voice cloning.
Oh, yeah.
That's an example of AI-generated disinformation. There has been AI-generated disinformation of Donald Trump. There was an audio going around TikTok where it had Donald Trump's voice talking about renaming Washington, D.C. to the District of America because why should it be named after Columbia? And that was fake.
Right.
But people believed it. And I think that it's really important to do research about how to combat that kind of thing, whether it's technical measures or also educational measures to help people better spot these things.
On April 18th, the president signed an executive order calling for better artificial intelligence education for young people in America. What is your response to seeing that just a few days after your project had been cut?
It did feel a little ironic. A lot of what I was doing was really just basic AI education. What is this technology? How does it work? And so it feels strange to see this expressly articulated as a priority, literally days after being told that this research is not a priority.
Casey Fiesler teaches information science at CU Boulder. Her National Science Foundation grant was recently canceled. We'll have a link to more coverage in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.